Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a more serious video. You won't see the avatar, but it's a very important video that has inspired me because I have taken certain steps in life. I've listened to people who are much older than me, people who are more experienced than me, and I think that their message may not be getting across to the younger people, younger men especially, as quickly as I would like. I started a platform called the Sango Brotherhood Podcast, for example, and it's a pretty good platform. We've done well for ourselves. It's the Sango Brotherhood Podcast. So we talk issues, life, women, finances, whatever the case may be, and it's quite good. We try to mix entertainment and information, entertainment and education, edutainment if you call it. But you can see we talk about women and all this kind of stuff. We also talk about sports, and we try to reach out to the normies. But before you reach out to the normies, before you engage in brain rot and things like this, you have to understand basic truths. As a man, one of your most base desires will be a woman. Now, because the world you're born in has placed power in the hands of the woman, it seems as though you must conform to what the woman says. So you have something called consent, for example. I have proved on my channel, I'll link those videos, that consent is a myth. It is purely a legal fiction. It's not something that occurs in life. It's not something that occurs in nature. However, it's so powerful that it determines the type of man you have to be in order to get what you want. So if a woman says, I want my guy to be 6'5", finance, blue eyes, remember, you'll see people getting surgery to be taller. There was some guy, something happened to his surgery and he lost his ability to walk forever. This man increases his height, excuse me, from 5'7" to 5'10", just to be more appealing to a woman, just because he walked up and the woman looked down at him and said, oh, you're too short. You're 5'7". I prefer a guy who is 5'11", 6'5", whatever. Right? He's sick of insults and jeering about his height. So, I'm saying all this to get at the fact that you can't win if you continue trying your best to conform with what a woman says is her idea of a real man. I want to show you something. This video inspired me to make this announcement, let's just say. So let's watch it. We have our comments on Sneeko. In some, he's a grifter, so I would advise that you take what he says with a pinch of salt, because what Sneeko does is to follow trends. Let's call them countercurrents. He follows countercurrents. So initially he was a Hillary supporter, then he became a Trump supporter, then he became a red pill, then he became Muslim, then he became a white supremacist doing the Hitler salute. Then he turns against the white supremacists, he doubles down on Islam and etc. blah blah blah. So whenever you see this guy called Sneeko, you must understand that what he's saying only applies to that moment. He's saying what the best thing is, not what necessarily the truth is. It's like we always say, there is two answers to a question: the correct answer and the truth. Sneeko always gives the correct answer for whatever his agenda is at the time. So, but I want you to listen to this interaction with the woman. Focus more on the woman than what Sneeko is saying. Let's go.
You like drug dealers?
Yeah, you can say that.
You know that's not, is that who you want to have kids with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you
Why?
have kids with? Why? So that's the only thing I'm attracted to really. I don't like guys with real jobs. I just don't like it.
Okay, so did you hear that? I'm attracted to drug dealers, she says. I don't like guys with real jobs, she says. Now, there are people who will hear this and assume that in order to be a guy, you have to be a dick, you have to be a drug dealer, you have to, kind of have some kind of danger to you. That is true. It is attractive to some women. But let's listen further to what she says.
So you prefer somebody, like, this is going to be the father of your children. The likelihood that he goes to jail is 10 times higher than somebody who's working regular jobs.
Yeah, but like when they turn like maybe like 25, then they got to get a real job.
So you want to date an ex-drug dealer?
Yeah. Like they can do it like now because obviously they're young. But if I have kids with them and stuff, they got to fix up and get a real job.
Okay, so did you hear that? So basically, this is the "I can fix him" trope, which is a woman sees somebody who is down on his luck, drug dealer, and then she believes that with her divine femininity, she can fix you into the man that she truly wants or that she would later want. So what she's saying is, as I'm young, I want to date hard, dangerous guys, and then over time, I want to tame him to be mine. That is, as is a drug dealer, and maybe on drugs, drug dealing, has like an anger problem from his drug dealing. Very dangerous person. He can, kill an ex-boyfriend of hers, or slap up her dad, or just those toxic, dangerous things. She wants to be the one who will have this man in her arms and control him to the point where he becomes docile, which is the regular job. So you have to think laterally when listening to women.
You don't think they were going to become unattracted to him because you just said you don't like guys with real jobs?
I know, but it's just for now. But I think when I'm a bit older, then...
So you want to tame a drug dealer?
Yeah.
Okay.
You like drug dealers?
So did you get that? She wants to tame the drug dealer. She wants to get you in your wild states. You are wild and uncomfortable. You don't listen to what she says. You don't, you just act of your own volition. Then she wants to tame you. That is, bring you down to her level, beneath her, where she can control you. This woman is not unique, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. She is not unique to any other woman on the planet. This is all women. This is all women. If you want to go biblical, I can show you. Genesis 3:16. I think it was New Living Translation. But, oh, here we go. I was correct. I won a Christian Religious Studies prize for being the best student when I was very young. So, yes. But listen to this. Now, in the Bible, when you learned, if you're a Christian, when you learned in the Bible, it's like, oh, when the woman ate the what's it called? The fruit of good and evil, she gave to the husband ate, and God kind of cursed them. And God gave the man his curse and says that the sweat of your brow, you get food out of the ground. You have to till it in order to get food from it, sustenance. To the snake, he said, you crawl on your stomach, the child of the woman shall crush your head, and you shall bite at the heels, like that, right? But this is what he said to the woman. In your old translations from, my book of Bible stories and freaking Sunday school, they said, your desire shall be to your husband, something like this. But this is what the New Living Translation says, and it says, God said to the woman, I will sharpen the pain of your pregnancy, and in pain you will give birth. You will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you. You will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you.
You don't think they were going to become unattracted to him because you just said you don't like guys with real jobs?
I know, but it's just for now. But I think when I'm a bit older, then...
So you want to tame a drug dealer?
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see that? So this is in the Bible. This clip is from 2024. Not really 2024, but this century, let's say. So this woman, I've said, is not unique. This is all women, and you must operate as though this is all women. You must understand this. Women don't like you. Women don't love you. They want to control you for their benefit, whether it's money, whether it's food, whether it's rent.
You want to tame a drug dealer?
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, that is what women are. They see you as a mark. So the question for you guys is, do you want to be that drug dealer who gets tamed by a woman? Or do you want to be the person who decides to be a drug dealer just so you can attract a woman like this? Just look at this woman. Does she have the right to say she wants to tame a man, much less a drug dealer? Just looking at her face. She's nothing to write home about. And that's kind of the point. The point is that a woman like this believes that she can control you. And if, God forbid, you find this woman attractive, you may fall for it. You may fall for it. So what is the solution? Because that's what people want. want solutions. The only solution I can tell you is to focus on your money. Focus on your money. She says she dates drug dealers. Don't go into drugs just so you can quote unquote date a woman like this. If you're going into drugs, I wouldn't advise you go into drugs, but it shouldn't be this type of woman you do it for. And you should not let a woman like this tame you into being docile. So that's the second part, right? Now, this is another thing that I said. So there's this guy, Ayo, at 47cars on Twitter. He says, dating in Nigeria is like suffering for Nigerian men. Number one, step one, you plan the dates. Two, you will get her a gift as an intentional man. You pay for her Uber, her transportation. You pay for the date. Then she'll say that you said something and it was off, and you put her off, and it gave her bad vibes, and then your money is gone 100,000 naira, which is a lot of money for a young man. And he says it's better if you find a street girl for 70,000 and money well invested. This is 70,000. It means that the girl you find, probably off the street or wherever, will spend the night with you. The point is that she will leave afterwards, right? So this is what I said to it. This is me on Twitter, #Kage, follow me. I said stuff here and there, whatever. And I said, young men are waking up. One, there is no such thing as dating. If there's anything you're going to take from this video today, is this: there is no such thing as dating. Dating has always been prostitution. Look it up. The issue was when civilians started doing it for food rather than money, like the honest girls. Then I ended and I said, your money is more important than any romance. Romance doesn't exist. So it's inspiring because I got a lot of likes on it, whatever. Not that much, but we will take it. So now the thing is, as I said, you've been born into this life, so you've been programmed. There are things that you don't know that you don't know, things that you think you know. And somebody opened my eyes to this, but I was already seeing it. That even if you watch like the Boondocks, Riley said it. It says, why is grandpa dating a hoe? I was like, no, they're just dating. And he says, he's still paying. He still pays the restaurant. He still pays this. Why don't I just give the money to the girl and move on? So it's an eternal question. The hints are in front of your eyes. You're the one who has to plan the date. You're the one who has to buy a gift. You're the one who has to pay for this, pay for that. You've paid all this money, and because of what we talked about, consent. Remember, because of what we talked about, you can't get the thing that you actually wanted to pay for, right? So what we said was, get money. And okay, so this is the part I want to break down for you guys. This is definitely inspired by Coach Greg Adams. He's one who I would say my eyes were open, but he kind of gave me the full understanding of what happened. A date has always been a date in your calendar. That's one. The prostitute who stays in a whorehouse understands that on this date, the man will come and see me. I have to prepare myself for him. Clean out my chamber pot, whatever the case may be. That is what a date is. A date is only something on the calendar. Now, whorehouses, brothels existed because, of course, the girls on the streets are causing a nuisance, right? So they say, go to the brothel, stay there, and so that you don't corrupt the rest of society. So the men drive out to the brothel. I'll give an example of this. In Spain, the robot brothel. I just want to give an example of how this works. Here we go. Here we go. This is the story I wanted to get across to you. Europe's first sex robot brothel forced out of base as prostitutes complain of competition. Do you see? So that is how it works. That's how prostitution works. We'll get back to it. So they moved so what I'm talking about is 100 years ago. What we're looking at today is 2017, 100 years later. So let's continue. So they move the prostitutes out, and they have a house. They have a madam who controls the girls. So the men come in, do their business, leave, go back home to their loving wives to maintain their marriages. So that's standard. That's understandable. Now the issue came in where you had regular girls who are not professionals. They come out and maybe their dad died or they're just wanting. So they use the opportunity. They understand that consent is a thing. They use the opportunity to extract resources from men. So they have men take them to a movie theater, to a restaurant. These are girls who are within the town, prostitutes. They are within the town and they are causing these issues. They're causing these issues with the men to the point where even the virtue police had to come and investigate that who are these girls. They had to profile them. Who are these girls meeting these men and doing, they're performing sexual acts in exchange not for money but for dates, for movie tickets, for food at a restaurant. So that's where the problem is. So the prostitutes in the brothel, their business started to dwindle because you had these regular girls who you just have to take them to see a movie and then they have sex with you, or you just give them food. So the prostitutes stopped getting customers. So they now came back into the streets and they saw they saw the dynamics too, right? So that's where the intermingling came in, wherein the prostitutes started to see what they call them. I think they call them charity girls. Thank you. They call them charity girls. Charity girls are the girls who, quote unquote, date for food. So if you watch any of the movies from the 90s and you see a guy pulling up to a prostitute, the prostitute says, "Do you want to date? Do you want to go on a date?" So a date is prostitute lingo. It is for prostitutes. They are the owners of that word. So using the words, "Oh, I'm dating this girl, I'm dating this girl," what it means is that you are paying her for sex. So if you are, quote unquote, dating a girl and you're not having sex with her, like this guy, it means you are dating a charity girl. You are just feeding this girl, you are just paying her rent, etc. Blah blah blah. So he says it's best to just go and pick up an actual prostitute. You spend less money, you get your money, you get your money's worth, and you move on with your life. That this money you've spent, you saved 30,000, right? Just do it in your own local currency. You saved 30,000, and you saved yourself some time. So the 30,000 you shave by paying a girl directly, you've saved time on the date, save time looking for the gift, for a thoughtful gift, save time checking for the Uber, paying for the Uber, asking her if she got home fine. You save time on the date. You save time. You save time from trying to get laid and then she, you know, brushes you off. You save time making sure that even if you do get laid, aftercare or how are you, enjoy the messaging and the constant communication. If she came back to your house, you have to make sure that she doesn't remember what your house looks like, so she doesn't, I don't know, whatever the case may be. The point is that if you just pay a professional, you save not only 30,000 but a lot of time, energy, attention, and money. That is Coach Greg Adams again. Money, energy, attention, and time. He calls it meat. Money, energy, attention, and time. This saves you all that. You can now commit your money and your time to other more productive things. Because in the end, as a man, all you want is just to have sex. You don't really want a companion that will stay in your business. And what you want as a young man is just to have sex with a woman. That's what you want. So you must understand that you shouldn't go through all this stress for someone who might actually steal the money from you. Not just the money, but a waste of your life. So young men, you have way more value to give to the world. And I said, that's how I started. I said, young men are waking up. You have much more value to give to the world than any vagina you can find. Trust me, you are worth more than women. You are worth far more than them. Your brain, your intellect, your ability, your physicality, even your appearance. If you get a man who is well put together, he doesn't need makeup, he doesn't need any enhancements. Just turn up, just put on the nice clothes that fit, look fit. You are better than most women. Most women need makeup. Most women need filters, no matter how beautiful they are. Most women need, like this guy is Nigerian, they need hair. They need to buy hair that costs a lot of money. But as a man, you can go out there, you can be good, feel good, be attractive, even if you're not attractive in the face. If you have this money, any girl will accept it. Any girl. As coach says, she's not out of your league, she's out of your price range. If you notice, if you go for an event, like maybe in your local area, they have like a local MMA circuit, or just a big event like a wedding, or a big man's wedding, or a big man's children's wedding, or something like they're just these special events where you go to like a very exclusive hotel or a conference room or something like this. There are some women that you see that you don't see on a daily basis. You just every guy has noticed this. You're at an event, whether it's a wedding or whatever the case may be, if it's a special event, you will see some women. They are dressed in a certain way. They have a certain level of attractiveness higher than the normal woman you see in the supermarket or in your class or at work or wherever. Those women are for sale. They are not your girlfriend. They are not there to be your girlfriend. You can't come out and say, I need a girlfriend. In fact, girlfriend is a completely gay concept. You have to throw it away. Find another word, don't use it. It's for girls. Girls are the ones who use that word. So those women are for sale. The question is, do you have the money? Can you afford it? Because even if the girl comes and you are able to sleep with her and she doesn't charge you, there will still be a cost. At some point, the girl will make what I've been calling for the past 15 years a liquidated money demand. The liquidated money demand is an amount of money that a girl will ask of you, and the money does the request does two things. One, it gives you the opportunity to show that you like her by paying the money, and also it serves as an ultimatum that if you cannot pay this money, then the relationship is over. And if the relationship is over, she can do anything. Remember, she maybe knows where you live, she knows your name. She can come out and say, yeah, you raped me, a la Jay-Z. I don't get into Jay-Z now. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But that is how that works. So I hope you guys have been able to see what I'm trying to say. Yeah, this is one guy who sends $4.7 million to an OnlyFans girl. Right? We can't say who the girl is because we don't want to promote her, but understand something. And you guys, we've watched Birdman, Defoe, all these guys. Yeah, they're like, oh, those guys are losers. They spend $4.7 million on a girl who they're not going to have sex with. The other guy with Ruby Rose, he spent $60,000 just to get a hug or whatever the case may be. That's the point. The point is that do you have $4.7 million to give away to a girl that you're not going to have sex with in the space of 1 year? Do you have that money? You don't. So you are in no position to make fun of these people. These sugar daddies, the people supporting OnlyFans, you are in no position to make fun of them because you don't have that money. Get it? So the point is, get the money. Get the money. When you have the money, then you can choose to do this if you're stupid. But then you have the right to be stupid if you have this much money to give. That's the point. So your main focus should be your financial freedom, not praying one day to date an OnlyFans model or something like this, but how do you make money? That's where you need to rewire your mindset. If you watch Scarface, it says first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the women. The women are the last thing, they should be the last thing on your mind. So that's why I give them this advice, because you should not be dated. You should no, it's stupid. You're walking backwards. So what Big Io should be talking about is how you get money, not how you go on dates. So, and this is his problem. 100K gone. That's one girl. That is the risk of traveling, the risk of accidents, the risk of etc, a rape accusation, etc, all these things, all these risks with the 100,000 gone, right? And again, if she says something stupid and you are somebody, it can affect you for the rest of your life. That's one girl, 1 month. If you do this 12 times in a year, if you do that 12 times in a year, that's 1.2 million. That is 1.2 million. for a 50-50 chance or a 70-30 or whatever the case may be, maybe even 80-20, that she won't have sex with you. And some girls say, oh, you have to go on dates 3 times. So what? You're asking me to pay you or to spend 300,000. Girls have said that to me when I was younger. She says, I cannot do anything with you unless you spend this amount of money on me. Women, you guys have heard these things. You've heard them. But somehow in your brain, you don't want to believe that women think like this, but they do. So that's my advice for you young men. For us, let's say, we're together in this. We need to make money. Get a circle, get a reliable circle, to find a way to delegate in order to give yourself some time. This is advice I'm giving myself as I speak. And just find ways to multiply your income and to make sure your income is consistent so that from there you can now set up the kind of life you want to live. You can go and marry your Egyptian virgin or whatever the case may be. You can, get a house and fill it with hoes. It's all about money. That's the point. So get that, then the other things will come. Then the power to do all those things will come. Then the women will follow naturally. It wouldn't matter anymore whether you're a criminal or whatever the case may be. What they're attracted to is the money. So you get it just for yourself. And when you do get money, prioritize your people, prioritize your friends, your family, prioritize your guys, the people who are being with you, prioritize them over any fucking female. The reason why women are more in the world than men is because men have more value. Men hold more value. President Trump had Baron Trump. Trump age when Baron was born. Just for context, President Trump was President Trump, I think President Trump would have been 64 when he had Baron. So what does that say? Right? So he was born in 2006. Trump was born in 46. Baron was born in 2006. President Trump was 60 years old. And he had this specimen of a man. You've seen him stand next to the president. You've seen how tall he is. You've seen this when he's young. Recently, look at him. Look at him. Trump had this boy at 60. Look at him now. Trump is 78. Just look at this boy. He sat down, picked the right woman, and look at what he's able to produce. This boy can be a president, even an emperor of the United States. Just looking at him, looking at the royal features. This is top level genetics right here. Top level genetics. You can't even deny it. Just looking at this boy. This is top level genetics. He always has a scowl because he's very intelligent. Intelligent people usually don't smile. So just as I say that. So just understand that part. Get the money, then everything else, money answers all things, right? Get that money, and then you won't have to be dealing with threes telling you to go and kill people just so you can have sex with them. So on that bombshell, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, check out my other videos wherein I talk about topical issues. I call it Eye of the Storm. I think this will be an Eye of the Storm episode. So please make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me if you agree, tell me your experiences dealing with women, and we can talk about it in the comments. So thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Out.
After centuries of sleep, of nothingness, I have returned. Something comes back to me. I was great once. Feared. Yes. Once I was strong. Powerful beyond measure, beyond imagining. So weak now, must find blood.
The best guy at synthesizing this stuff, because he's just been hitting these things out of the park.